High School. Would you feel free to come on up? You feel comfortable? Welcome. Thank you for welcoming people as they entered this evening. Can we put you on the spot for a second? Awesome. Would you mind letting everyone know your names, maybe what year you are in school, and something really great about Sumner High School right now? Rock, paper, scissors. So much for being here tonight. All right, consent items. Do I have a motion to approve the consent items for October 18th as listed?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Any discussion?
Other than the donations are always really nice.
Amazing, right?
15 grand from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is pretty nice. And the culinary one, I mean, that'll go a long ways towards the program too.
Absolutely. Very generous. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We're at the point in the agenda where we have some recognition of staff, students, and community members.
So tonight we have the honor and privilege of recognizing two students. Executive Director of Special Services, Karen Finnegan, is going to recognize our first student. And then Principal Jeff Baines from Sumner High School will recognize our second student. So Karen, you want to come on up? You'll need to use the microphone because people at home want to hear you. Where's Roger?
Yes. So I cannot tell you how excited we are here today to give this award to Charlie Joy. Charlie is a 12-year-old 7th grade girl at Lake Ridge Middle School. And we have started this award called the Certificate of Excellence. So you're actually our first person to receive it. And I want to explain a little bit and then give it over to them as well. Oops, sorry about that, Mari. So this Certificate of Excellence Award here for Charlie says, in honor of not allowing adversity to define who you are in the Sumner-Bonney Lake School District. And it is so true. I know that we were figuring out ways to find some support, and Charlie's mom had sent a YouTube video, which was just, Charlie's middle name is Joy, and she is nothing but pure joy. And when I watched that video, thank you for sending it to me and forwarding it to me, Mari. I just couldn't believe I shared it with my boss and our CFO and everybody. And the reason I was so impressed, and I know I came and talked to you about it, but I'm going to tell you again, was because you know how to communicate, you know how to educate, and you know how to provide ways that other people can help. And sometimes adults can't even do that when they're faced with problems. And here you are, 12 years old, so mature and just so full of light and joy. And I know that's a big part of just who you are. But your whole family, if you guys could just put your hand up, look at all the people here supporting Charlie. That's the love and support, yep, for this little girl. So I'm going to hand this over to Mari and to Chris to see if they have anything to say as well.
Charlie is just a joy to be around, and her perseverance, her advocacy for herself, and her really enjoyment at being at school is just amazing with all that she battles through each day. So we are so excited that you are getting this award for excellence. So congratulations, Charlie.
And I'm just going to echo that, Charlie, that you are everything that a Lake Ridge Hawk is supposed to be, right? You show pride every day, perseverance, respect, integrity, determination on a big scale, and excellence always. And it is a pleasure to have you at our school as a little role model. And I am so excited that you got this reward today. You've completely earned that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's right here. Okay. All right. All right. So first of all, Reagan's petrified of doing this. So, oh, there's a coin. So I'm going to go quick for her. But before I just want to read some stats. In order to earn this, you had to accumulate 400 hours of community service, 200 hours of personal growth and development, 200 hours of physical activity, and go on a 5-day, 4-night exploration. So that's pretty impressive in and of itself. Then I'm going to explain Reagan's journey through that. But as of 2023, her mom just shared with me, there's only been 574 of these medals ever given out. So that she is definitely in rarefied air. So congratulations for that. So standing next to me is Reagan Ryder. She is a junior at Sumner High School, currently a full-time Running Start student at Green River. The award that she received is the Congressional Gold Medal through the Congressional Award Program for Initiative, Service, and Achievement. So here's what Reagan did to earn her gold medal. She worked over 400 hours of community service at the market, which is the Bonnie Lake Food Bank, also surrounding food banks in Enumclaw, Buckley, and Sumner. She also worked at the Nights on Ryan, which is a Sumner Arts Commission activity where you did some chalk art, which you sent us a picture, was really good. Her personal development, this was the stretch part of this, is that she taught herself or themselves how to play ukulele, bass guitar, and electric guitar, worked through some art, and taught themselves how to crochet. Again, impressive. Physical activity was, she's an avid lacrosse player, so that was the easiest part of this whole journey. And then she also swims. Here's the exploration. She volunteered at the Balladine Farm Sanctuary in Whidbey Island. And during her 4 nights, 5 days, she fixed floors, cleaned enclosures, trimmed hooves, made signs, and just loved on the animals there. And that's a far cry from the city life that she was used to. So Reagan, this is a rare honor. We're very proud of you at Sumner High School. So congratulations. And in June, she gets to go to Washington, D.C. to get another medal.
The last person we'd like to acknowledge and recognize this evening just walked in the door. Kathy Hayden, come on up. I know you are, for those of you that don't know, Mayor Kathy Hayden, Mayor of the City of Sumner, a very, very busy woman. In this district, we stand on the shoulders of giants. And while you are not a giant person, you have lent us your shoulders in many, many ways. And you are a vital part of this school district. And we appreciate your support. We appreciate what you bring to this school district. Just since September, she has participated in convocation. You went a little crazy, I have to tell you. She did. She runs the Early Act Club at both Maple Lawn and Daffodil. How many kids did you have at Daffodil? 51 students at Daffodil participated in Early Act, which is outstanding. It's through our Sumner Rotary Club. Teaches about service, above self, everything this district stands for. And fingers crossed, I think she just got us a barn. So, I mean, Yes, I mean, no, come on, let's do this. Yes, right? Because we have some little lambs that need shelter from like January to April. And I've called Kathy twice now. Once I needed snowplows and then I needed a barn. And she was like, I think I know somebody. That's right. And we think that if it all works out, our little lambs will they'll have a little place to live for a while. And I mean, our FFA program is a nationally recognized program, and it is phenomenal for our students. So the work you do for us, the support you give us, I mean, we are so grateful for, and we just want to acknowledge you. Like my favorite mayor ever, president of the Kathy Hayden Fan Club, and yes, well, we love you. You are just one of our like best partners. So thank you for everything.
Yay.
And for once, you don't have to do anything.
I don't.
Yeah, you don't.
I know.
We have one more. Trisha Lubach, will you please come up? Trisha Lubach is the Director of Leadership Development for WASDA, which is the state organization for school boards. And this is the first time I've ever really surprised you at a school board meeting, because there are no surprises ever for school board members except for tonight. So I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I've had the opportunity to work with all of you. It's a pleasure to be back here to deliver some good news to you today. In a meeting that really started with a lot of good news. This is lovely. I attend a lot of school board meetings around the state, and to have it start with students and people who have contributed to your community is really a lovely way to go. So you all know, and I'll share with your audience, that each year WASDA selects from a number of applications. Boards apply to the WASDA Boards of Distinction program. That program has been in place since 2009. It's based on the Washington School Board standards, as you all know. Those standards are tied directly to improved student outcomes. And I believe this is the first year that the Sumner-Bonney Lake School Board has applied. And I am really happy to announce that you are one of the 2023 WASDA Boards of Distinction. So congratulations. And I'm not done. From within those boards of distinction that are selected each year are outside reviewers, which are composed of State Board of Education board members and the executive director, as well as superintendents from the ESDs across the state. They spend a lot of time reviewing the applications, looking at the data that you all have shared and what your focus has really been. And from among those boards of distinction, they select 3 boards of the year. One small district, one medium district, and one large district. And the large district board of the year this year is the Sumner-Bonney Lake School Board. That is really an amazing accomplishment for a board who's never applied before. The application process is pretty taxing. They really, I won't read it all to you, but some of the items that really impressed the reviewers were just the way you really dial down into your data to look at where you have opportunity gaps with students, and you put things into place at the board level that the rest of your staff then carries out, that Lori carries out with her staff. In particular, they were really impressed with the Teachers Academy and how that really filled a unique need and was building for the future. Also, the anti-racist policies that you spent a lot of time looking at, ensuring that those were fair and set up good standards for all students. So I could go on. It was a long application, but you will be honored at the WASDA annual conference next month in front of all 1,200 of your peers. So congratulations to you.
Surprise. And we have cake. We always have cake around here. So if you'd like, we could take a quick.
By the way,
Congratulations.
very cool. Very, very cool.
Great things happen in the school district.
Yeah,
Keep doing the good work.
I think, do you remember one of your first like study sessions?
Oh, gosh. You really want me to remember that?
Like the very first one, do you guys remember? She came up and she put a puzzle, like an unfinished puzzle up. And she said, we've got some really good pieces, right? She had the whole frame figured out. We've got a lot of pieces in place, but we're just missing a few key pieces. And I feel like that this award really is those key pieces that you and your team have implemented to build that puzzle piece. And so I just think that this district is in amazing shape right now. I know Rick keeps saying that too, something we agree on. But just thank you to you and your team for really kind of making us look good, because we know that this is a collaborative award, and goals and words are just that. But when they're implemented by really smart, talented, committed people, good things happen. So anyway, thank you for the recognition, but we all know really who does the work. So thank you. Board member comments. Anybody want to start us off? Paul, you want to start, or sorry, I'm sorry, or we could rock, paper, scissors for it.
Well, it always seems to be a one end or the other, and then we work our way. We could always go from the middle out too. Yeah, a lot going on. As the student greeter said, homecoming was just last week, and which is a really exciting time. Definitely in my household too. My daughter managed to cut herself, but she was getting ready for it to, shaving and everything, cut herself. We had a whole, bleeding emergency, but we got it fixed, and she got her off to homecoming. It was great. She'll probably kill me when she sees this online. But it was great to be at the parade and see all the community coming out in support of everybody and all the different clubs and all the different groups and sports teams and everything that participated, and just to see the excitement of everybody coming together. And we had good weather, and Sumner didn't catch on fire like it did last year, which was great. And so everything went off without an issue, at least to those watching from the outside. So I appreciate all the work that goes into that, especially from the Sumner High School ASB team. At least half, great job. And I just wanted to say thank you to them for putting it on.
Thank you, Kevin.
Well, I missed this homecoming. It's probably the first time ever that I missed it. And when I really knew that I regretted it was when I went to the WSU homecoming game, because it was kind of a blowout. And I think I would have loved to have seen both the Spartans, and Bonnie Lake play as well. But I guess I just want to say that I just can't believe how honored I feel and we feel for that distinction. It was nothing that I ever thought that we would ever be able to achieve, just because it's a lot of work. And then when you reflect on, I've been here for 10 years, and you just think of where we started and how the struggles to get where we needed to get. And we are all being awarded for that. And I just really appreciate the work that went into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. since we're just seem to be going in order really quickly, I just want to take a moment and honor our SRO who is here tonight, Matt Watson. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your time and dedication on this evening to spend your evening with us. So thank you. Rick, do you have anything? You, Rick. Paul?
Well, I'm glad we started at the other end because Kevin's always very well spoken, tells a good story about the parade. It was fun. I thought last year's parade was big for Sumner. This year was, looked to me like it was twice the size. Way more of the clubs that had, entries into the parade, which was really fun. Bonnie Lakes, the entries were probably twice the number, or at least it felt like. So it's growing and getting bigger. Still, just give it a few more years to have it be a tradition up there. I really liked the pep rally that they had up at Bonnie Lake afterwards. That was a first for them. It was fun. Mr. Clark had a tug of war match that he won, which was fun. They had a dance off. I decided I didn't want to do a dance off. With that, because there's lots of fun stuff going on, you guys are not part of what's called the Sumner-Bonney Lake Parent Group. That's the PTA presidents and stuff like that that meet for the Parent Leadership Council. But they had a posting this last week, and it's the PTA out at Holly Heights Elementary. So in the gym, Friday, October 27th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. They're having what's called a Monster Mash Family Dance. And it looks like a lot of fun. DJ, dancing, costumes, games, and treats for sale. And then anyway, I throw that out because I'm kind of on a kick to encourage all of us to make it to as many of these events as possible. Not only are they fun, but we get to see all the good things going around in the district. Unfortunately, I have other commitments this night, so I'm hoping one of you guys can go. It would be a lot of fun.
What time was it again, Paul?
It's October 27th. That's Friday, 6:30 to 8. Yeah, and I've got some information here if you want to. I'd have to look back through it and see if it's an RSVP, but yeah, I'm sure they'd love to have you, Kevin.
Great. Thanks, Paul. Any further comments? All right, hearing none, we're going to move into the policy portion of the meeting. The following policy has been included for second reading and adoption. The district administration recommends the board adopt the following district policy 5253, professional boundaries. Do I have a motion to approve this policy?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We have quite a list of policies for first reading there, as well as procedures. We'll be voting on those second reading next month. This brings us to business matters. We have a presentation from our Chief Finance District Operations Officer, Bang Parkinson. Good evening, Bang. Welcome back.
Congratulations to the board. It's really amazing. And there's a lot of good things happening in the Sumner-Bonney Lake School District. And I'm so lucky to work for this district. And I'm just part of it. So great. Good evening. Tonight, I am going to talk to you about the enrollment. So far, we have 2 months of enrollment count. The September 4 days and October 1. So I call superintendent's enrollment report means that we are counting every kids that we serve. So in the K-12 is all include all the CTE, ELL, special ed kids. That's the count of those. And then we have some full-time running star. They are off campus, but we still serve them as our kids because they register with us. So that's our kids as well. And then we also recruit those re-engagement kids. We have 13 of them. And then we also have a program for childcare and preschoolers. That is the tourism base. It's also, even though it's not counted in the K-12, but it's also the kids that we serve in the district. So overall, why I was surprised that it said that the large district, I was like, large district to me was like big, right? Over 10,000 kids with almost 11 now coming. So amazing that we become a bigger district or a large district. Yeah, we grow a little bit this year. Yeah, we over 10,000 last year as well. Yeah, head count, very different. So here is FTE, full-time equivalent. And mostly this is just K-12 only. We're not talking about the running star full-time. So this is just a K-12 in our school, in our campus. And we call AAFTE because the annual average. And also this is based on the funding, based on this enrollment for funding. So you can see that the lowest bar, that was pandemic. And then we gradually coming back and open up school again, and then we going back up. So this year we are about 31 kids FTE more than last year. So it's very flat. It's not really going like jump up. Then we budget a little bit low to be conservative. That is just so perfect when it coming in, because for staffing purpose. So you can see that the patterns of our school district each month. When it come in, September is always lower than October. October is always high, but that's the highest month mostly. Only last year was a little bit different. Last year was really break the patterns. Last year was November higher than October. I was really surprised to see that. But you see that normally is September and then up, October, and then slow, gradually going down, and pretty much keep the September level as in June. So that's our patterns, and I hope that they will just continue that patterns. And this is other enrollment, other programs. It's still in that K-12, but we count them differently because the funding is different. So we have CTE, it looks pretty consistent. ELL, we have jump higher. Now this is 2 months average, September, October. Of course, October is higher, but when you count funding, then it will always average. And then we have special eds increase a little bit as well. Then we have ALE, Alternative Learning Experience Program, and then also re-engagement, means that open door. So we have a bigger ALE program. It looks like we have 57.87 FTE. Now the talk about FTE. And then we have 13 kids for re-engagement program that we have Grad Alliance take care of that curriculum. And then we have Dillinger's students because they are KA, so they are coming to our school and by grade level by school. And we almost have 400 kids from them. This year's higher than previously. Yeah. It's about 360 something or so. It's not that like almost 400. So this year looks like more than last year. And then we have our district waivers. This year we have new student waivers 70 and all the returning students is 560. We always have waiver. And it depends on if we have available facility, capacity, and then look at the class size as well. If you add one kid and then you have to hire another teacher, then that is tough. Yeah. Short presentation. Any question?
On the some of the slides that you're talking about, the alternative, back a couple slides. That number, is that just Eli Hill or does that also include community based?
So in Eli Hill, there's some ALE, but not all
Not all,
ALE.
okay.
So we kind of have to calculate which actually fall into the ALE program, which is just a regular basic ed online program.
Gotcha.
Yeah, mostly they are online programs.
It's great to see that slide, especially on the dropout re-engagement number. I mean, it wasn't too long
Yes.
ago in society when you dropped out, you were just gone.
I know,
And
right?
the fact that we can pull 13 back in
Yes,
and re-engage
it's so
them
great.
and
Yeah,
hopefully-
help the kid continues education and finish
yeah, and
their
I think that combined
school.
with, you know, ALE, Eli Hill, community based, all that just brought
Yeah.
together is gonna
Those are
just
good
help
programs.
kids.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay.
So since we're on this slide, I'll go ahead and ask this question. And it had to do with the Eli Hill. So I noticed it's a big difference between Sumner High School and Bonney Lake High School. And so between the students enrolled in these programs, is it just that they have a more robust program to help these students at Sumner High School? Or is it that there's just more students that need that at Sumner High School?
I would have Kelly explain to you on those. But I know that Eli Hill, most students from Sumner versus Bonnie.
So each of the two high schools has, they have full-time online managers, and sometimes there are students that they're not at Eli. So these are students still enrolled at Sumner High School or Bonnie Lake High School who may have a health issue that is impacting their ability to attend school in person. They may have some type of mental health challenge, et cetera. And so they're taking advantage of doing school full-time online. So sometimes it just depends on the students at the buildings and what needs they have. So when you look at that Sumner High School right now, and it's on a student by student basis. So when you look at the numbers, it does vary between the schools. Sumner High School generally, they do tend to have more, but both schools have the same amount of online managers, same support. And those same online managers are the ones who help support online in-person class kids as well. So they're balancing both loads at the same time. And I'd have to go down the list of kid by kid to tell you, but basically those are the two reasons.
So in your experience, have there been kids that are at Bonnie Lake High School that maybe could have benefited from a program like Eli Hill? But I know we have a shuttle service that gets them down there, but maybe they didn't want to take the shuttle service because it might have affected some of their other classes. Has that happened? And if so, how often does it?
Yeah, so Eli is not ALE. So because students attend school in person at Eli, they're just a regular BEA student. So as far as Eli goes, we have 100 seats throughout the day for students. And so there's a an application process that a counselor, a family, the student kind of goes through to see if they're interested in attending, and they work magic there. So generally we don't have any students not go because we can't make a schedule work, because at Eli, they will make a schedule work. So in the numbers between Eli students between Bonnie Lake and Sumner High, it's within like 4 students or 5 students. It's almost split even.
Thanks for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kelly.
Then here's probably the easiest one. Can we go back one slide? So you have ELL. I know what that means. English language learner. What's the HC mean?
Head count.
Oh, head count. Wow, thank you. And then let's go out to the out of district waivers. On the new students, are these like new students wavering in due to teachers that we have in our district, and these are their children?
Could be. If you have new teachers coming in our district and want to bring in their kids, that's one of the factors. There's another is the, like their siblings.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
Steve doesn't oversee it anymore. Steve Sholin doesn't oversee it anymore.
No, he handed it off. So when you look at those new students, Paul, you're right. Some of those new students are the children of staff members per state RCW. If they ask to come to or apply to come to our schools, we are required to bring them in and support it. Really, we're supporting our staff by doing that as well. So some of them are for our staff members.
Do you have an idea of how many? And I ask this because when we're going out for a bond soon, and people see a slide like this and they're like, we wouldn't have to build new buildings if we didn't have 500.
Sure. Yeah.
So I understand some of this is required by law, and it's a benefit to staff members to have their children attending in the great district that they teach in. But how many of the new students are fit into that?
I'm not able to answer at this time. I would certainly be able to find that answer for you though. So
Please.
yeah.
It would be- I think,
Sure.
I mean, if we know it's 50, then we could say, no, we're not just accepting everybody.
Yeah.
It would be helpful.
Yeah.
Well, it might be nothing, but it is something
So
when you need to build new buildings and you're.
You've seen this compared to what it used to be. I mean, Sarah, like she's a hawk on these waivers.
Well, I'm sure Steve was glad to give it up.
I mean, we have 10,000 kids. I mean, so 70, yeah, I mean, and we have some that have special needs that work with Karen. I mean, there's a variety and a mix that goes into those 70 kids.
Yes.
So it's not as easy as saying X amount is this
Yeah.
and will be every year.
No, it's
I mean-
ballpark figure would be helpful to me to say that's, 50, is it 40? So
Sure.
thank you.
thanks, Sarah.
Okay.
Any other question?
Thank you, Bang.
Thank you.
All right, this brings us to some resolutions. First up is resolution number 01-2324, the EP&O levy resolution. Do I have a motion? Oh, wait. Yep, we're gonna do a roll call on this. Vote. Okay, Charmaine, you're gonna lead us through that. Yeah, I need to make the motion. So the district administration recommends that the board adopt the resolution EP&O levy. Do I have a motion to approve? Do I hear a second? Well, see, that's then we did the roll call. Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Charmaine? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. We have one more resolution we'll do by roll call as well. Resolution number 02-2324, the capital levy resolution. The district administration recommends the board adopt this resolution. Do I have a motion to approve? A second? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Resolution number 03-2324, release transfer obligation from Mountain View exterior repair. The district administration recommends the board adopt this resolution. Do I hear a motion to approve? A second?
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Resolution number 04-2324, transfer obligation from general fund to capital projects fund for 4 single portable classrooms onto Holly Heights Elementary. Do I hear the district administrator recommends the board adopt resolution. Do I hear a motion to approve? A second?
Second?
Any discussion? Paul?
When I was looking over this resolution, and I'm maybe I just don't understand. It looked like there was different figures. One was like 1.75 million, and then another figure was 1175. I don't know if those are the actual numbers or if there was a Okay, so is the first number of 1.75 or 1,750,000? Where? Right. Did you guys update the resolution then? Because I saw 2 figures in that resolution. $1.175. Okay, thank you, Manny.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation, the administration recommends the board approve the 5-year CTE plan and the 2023-2024 Perkins Grant. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Love our CT programs.
Yeah, for real, right? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. This brings us to, we have a new instructional material up for adoption. Today is the first reading. Course design, selection, adoption of, let's see, sports medicine curriculum. The material is the title is Essentials of Athletic Injury Management. If you have any questions, Erin Tomlin, Director of CT or College and Career Readiness, is here. Thank you for being here tonight. Not to put you on the spot, but welcome. Oh,
Well, it's not really a question, it's a comment.
Okay.
So this is the first time I've seen, and maybe it's because it's a smaller curriculum adoption, where you guys kind of analyzed the 3 different texts that you were looking at. And then you said, no, we're not going to accept this. And you gave the rationale why, and then you went down to the next. I just want to say thank you. I appreciated that. It helps me understand where you guys are coming from. And I think the public appreciates it. So thank you.
any other questions for Erin? Okay, thanks for being here. All right, at this time, we have a presentation from our Human Resources Assistant Superintendent David Brower and Director of Human Resources Adrian Chacon. Did I say that correctly? And Robert Gallagher. Welcome. Thank you. You guys are very patient. True.
Good evening. Director of the board, Dr. Dent, thank you. We are pleased to be here. I'm joined by Robert Gallagher and Adrian Chacon. Thank you for trusting us. with the Human Resource Department, the only department whose very title reminds us of the need for humanity every day. And I'm so grateful for that reminder. And it's something that we strive to do, to constantly put the human in human resources. Like every department, well, that's not working. Like every department here at Sumner-Bonney Lake School District, our work begins and ends with this promise. In order to fulfill that promise, we're focusing on these two operational goals. We started them last year and we continue that focus because you don't just pivot quickly. So the two goals we're going to talk about are the ones you see there. And it's really about improving the hiring system. And then also, as we strive to improve that hiring system, make sure those people that we hire and retain more closely reflect the demographics of our students. So I'm going to turn this over to Robert, who's going to talk about our Goal 1 progress.
Thank you. Just to mention about Goal 1 here, the information we're sharing is really from our summer work because we just presented in June. So we're back as a department. We just wanted to give you that nice little update. So some of the important work that we've worked on is our streamlining of the application process. We had a process that if you wanted to be certificated and classified, you had to apply twice. And so we're breaking down those barriers to get people into our positions and get people in front of our students. We also increased our LOIs, which are letters of intent for classified staff. That was really helpful at our job fair, which I'll talk about in a moment, which really helped us lock down the best candidates as quickly as we can. We had 2 people at the job fair who had job offers from neighboring districts. And when we pulled out our LOI, our letters of intent, they're both gainfully working for us because this is where they wanted to be. So having that process really helped us attract and retain those wonderful applicants that we had. We also worked tirelessly with our administrators, ensuring that we could match candidates to what school needs were, really involving them in that process. So our second part of Goal 1, we had our community job fair on August the 1st. We met and we interviewed with 75 candidates. Last year, when we did the same thing, we had 38. So the word's getting out that come to these job fairs and that the district staff, the people that need to be in the room are in the room. We had principals there, assistant principals there, directors there. We had community agencies that were there to help us really get the people in our community. One of the things that we've really worked out since June in working with our community outreach with our partners and our communications department here in the district is being out at community events like Rhubarb Days, Bonnie Lake Days, Beautify Bonnie Lake. An example from Rhubarb Days, because I worked Rhubarb Days, was there was 2 people who just moved into the community. One was a teacher who lived in our community, but was working somewhere else, is going to come here next year. We really sold that. And Pam from transportation, our director of transportation, I can honestly tell you, she can wheel and deal. She was out there selling our bus drivers and was recruiting retired drivers and anyone who had a CDL. There was a truck driver. She was like, you ever thought of driving a school bus? So we continue to really work hard to get the people from our community to work within our schools. And it's my pleasure to turn over to Adrian for Goal 2.
Good evening. I also wanted to thank our communications director and program. They have been aligned with us as we're doing these recruiting events and set up so much of that work. So thank you. All right, moving on. I do want to talk a little bit about Goal 2, again, hiring a percentage of staff that more accurately represents the breakdown of our students as well. These are our 4 guiding principles as we tackle that goal. And I'm going to break it down into each one of those as we continue here. So starting off with analyze and removing hiring barriers. Robert already addressed a little bit of this, but in terms of this goal, we know that hiring barriers can definitely disproportionately affect underserved populations. So it's constantly a focus of streamlining, reviewing, and then making sure that we're capitalizing on the staff in our community, the community people that could ultimately rise to the level that we want them to. So get them where they're at and help grow them as well. So you'll be hearing a little bit more about that as we continue. Next one, breaking down where do our paraeducators live. As we're talking about our classified staff, I want you to take a look at that pie chart. The green section there shows our paraeducators that are actually living in our service boundary areas. The purple one is those within our neighboring areas, and then the blue is outside. So again, our goal is to hire from within the community. Next one is just training staff for advancement. As we shared last spring, these are our continuing areas of focus for the pathway development. We're so proud of that teaching academy program, but we also have our intern programs for our students, both within the tech world and custodial work. And this summer was just incredible to see how many students, not everyone is college bound, but everyone deserves the right to have the training and exposure and that first job that's really going to set them up for success in the years to come. That's our goal in working with our intern programs. And then creating pathways for our paraeducators at the Para Institute this past summer. We had 30 plus paraeducators that chose during their lunch break to come and hear about the possibility of how to become a teacher in our district. And what are those connections and supports and how HR will work side by side with them to make that happen. Very exciting. We also currently have, it says on there, 9 paras are currently doing their student teaching out of our 27 interns. That's a huge number. And of course, number 4 is supporting staff from diverse backgrounds. We're constantly expanding opportunities for our staff of color to come together, talk a little bit more in affinity groups, but then also continuous education and support for the rest of our staff around the ideas of equity inclusion to create that culture in our buildings and across our offices that are welcoming and accepting of all of our family. Okay, this is our retention rates. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but if you take a look at that one, ultimately what it is we have great retention rates in our district. Blue is for teachers, purple is for paraeducators, but an overall combined 89% retention rate for our staff. That's pretty incredible. Something to be very proud of. It says something about the culture that we have here in this district. And then this is just a little bit of information to share with you. We shared numbers in the spring. We know as of October, there's a little bit of growth, specifically in the areas of the Hispanic Latino, and then also the 2 or more races we're seeing. I believe right now, Hispanic Latino has gone up from like 4.9 last spring. So we're seeing growth in the areas. It's steady, it's continuous, it's ongoing, but we're constantly looking not just at recruiting, but also the retention of our current staff. And then just this pie chart for those of you that are more visually, like the colors. I like the colors, sorry. And then our paraeducator breakdown, you'll see that that's actually a little bit more closer to our numbers of our students. So that does tell you a little bit more about the fact that we need to really grow from within. And I'm going to turn this back over to Robert.
So what's working well? A lot in our department and in our district. So we partnering with our classified leadership to advertise and recruiting locally through job fairs and community events, streamlining our training with a focus on retention and accountability. We are accountable, and we know that. So we work hard to make sure that we're working with our stakeholders to ensure that that accountability piece is in place. We really worked hard since June. This is since June and part of a little bit of last year. Is we worked with our athletics department, and we really felt that we really needed to have some coaches training on HIB, on harassment, intimidation, bullying, and boundaries. So we now have a training program for all coaches in every season where they get the training on that reminder that this is really important, that, you can't use your cell phone to text a player and things like that. So we're really working hard with our coaches to ensure that they're adhering to the high standards that our district has. We also did some changes to our evaluation system, moved to a 4-point scale. We were a 3-point scale. Now we're a 4-point scale in line with everybody else. We're really trying to get everything lined up for that streamlining process. We partnered with our technology department. As you know, we have new badges that everybody has in the district, and they've worked tirelessly with us to get that rollout for all staff. And when there was a problem, they were sending people out. We even shared the printing duties of printing the badges for 1,700 staff members this year. It was a lot, but we worked hard with that. And we also have our mandatory notifications and consistency and accountability for all staff. We changed the way we did that to make sure that everybody is getting it twice in a nice, friendly way. So to make sure that we're in compliance. And it's my pleasure to turn back over to David.
Thank you. Just to clarify on that training, that was augmented training for coaches. It really was not anything new, but it was an augmented way to increase the number of times we hit that to make sure that we are focusing on that. So I just want to focus a little bit on what we continue to work on moving forward. And I want to hit a couple of things. One goes back to evaluations. Even the best player needs feedback and a coach, regardless of the arena in which that player is playing. We have phenomenal staff who want to get better and they want authentic feedback. And so it's really about moving that evaluation system from a compliance checkbox for all groups to really a growth-focused evaluation system. And you heard Robert talk a little bit about that. One of the technical pieces is moving from a 3-point scale to a 4-point that says, hey, you can actually exceed standard. Like we do for our certificated groups, our classified groups haven't had that. The other thing we really want to talk about is both a technical and an adaptive change. We have some great software programs, and some of them have just outlived their usefulness, and the 21st century is passing them by. And it is time to look at having more user-friendly systems because we don't want to miss out on candidates who can't navigate our system. And so those are we're taking the plunge and looking at continuing to look at a better hiring system, a better absence management system, and a better volunteer processing system to get the right people quickly in front of our students. The other thing I want to talk, I'm really excited about this. Adrian highlighted the work that we're doing for pipeline training, for moving paraeducators and other classified staff into teacher roles or teachers into administrative roles. We're just beginning a partnership with the International Union of Operating Engineers, who represents our classified maintenance, custodial, transportation, and nutrition services staff. The IUOE has a training trust where members of IUOE can go and access these classes to build their skills. So if we can't go find them, we can train them to develop those skills, especially for those hard to fill trades positions that we struggle to fill. So we're really excited about this partnership, and they already have access to it, but it's really making sure that our members know that this partnership exists so they can go and get training for these skills and then qualify to get the certifications for those hard to fill positions. So we're really excited about that. I wanted to announce that to you because I think that's something that's really important as we continue to move forward. As I said at the beginning, our work begins and ends with our promise. Aren't those great pictures? Those are our students. And as we were out and about, Adrienne is one of our resident photographers. So she's out and about. I'm going to credit her with these, as well as some of our communications department is out and about. They grabbed these pictures, but every staff member and volunteer and substitute who ensures that our students are known, valued, and supported begins and continues their journey in this district with HR. And so we just wanted to end where we began with our promise. And with that, we thank you and happy to entertain any questions or comments that you might have.
Great presentation. Thank you. Any questions, comments? That's a great.
David, you came kind of with a story of how you build a pipeline of kind of a build your own type system. What you laid out today is kind of a down payment on that system you've been trying to build here in the last couple of years, and it's showing a little bit progress right now. I think in the years to come, it'll exponentially grow. And so thank you.
Thank you.
Come to find out over the years that teaching's one heck of a hard job. And I'm glad to hear that we're trying to get the brightest and the best out there to teach these kids. And I think it's very important that we do that.
Thank you. We have an absolutely phenomenal teaching staff. And we're so lucky to have them and that they continue to invest in our community.
And in addition to that too, to piggyback, just being super intentional about those hard to fill positions too, right? And being really thoughtful about how you get those positions filled as well. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Adrian, I appreciated the information about reflecting our students and our staff. And I think, there's a lot of good stuff in the presentation from all three of you. And I'm really hoping to see a continued progress in that reflection of our students, because when our students see themselves reflected, they flourish. And I do know we have some work to do there, and I appreciate your hard work on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Marina. the most patient of us all. Welcome back. We have a presentation regarding the capital projects for October. It's been a good night.
Been a very good night. Congratulations, board, on the Board of Distinction. That is an accomplishment. And I just express my gratitude to the board for the support you show our facilities every day. And I think that this report reflects that. So thank you very much for the opportunity to share with you. Pictures don't capture the difference at Bonnie Lake High School Stadium with the turf, the track, the lights, the scoreboard that was installed this week. All of those projects are complete. And the energy in that stadium has a facility that reflects that. From the grandstands that we did previously to this work, it's just really a great place for those kids at Bonnie Lake High School to flourish. So thank you for that. The Lake Ridge vestibule is also complete, and that is another well-needed and beautiful addition. I think most people think that it looks like it was supposed to be there, so we were successful with that design. So thank you for that. I'm really excited about the completion of this project, the district-wide indoor air quality recommissioning of our buildings that we did. It's a very technical piece of work, but it's a very beneficial piece of work. And I look forward in the future to sharing with you how PSE is recognizing the work that we did on this, because we will be receiving some grant money for this work. So definitely well needed and really tuning up our buildings in a good way. Boy. Mountain View has gone through so much these past years. I mean, when you really think about when it goes around construction, we had the fire that everybody thought was the building burning down, but it was our contractors' materials, the vehicle damage. We've had some interesting challenges at Mountain View, but what a beautiful place. We focused a lot on the exterior, on the addition, but I am really, really proud of the work that we did on the interior. The floors look amazing, and the walls just look so fresh and clean, and they really highlight the work that the kids put on those walls. And yes, I am really glad there's no more teal and mauve in that building. That was a big thing to accomplish. It really gives that building a freshness. We still have new lighting that will be going in the rotunda above the state art piece. And in that front entrance hallway, we have new LED light fixtures that we're going in. Those sconces that are there will also all be replaced in the building with something that fits with the rest. So the lighting in the hallways will have a brightness to reflect the brightness in the rest of the building. So very excited about it. We're very close to being done. So it's awesome. And we talked about portables earlier. Thank you for moving forward with additional portables. The Bonnie Lake High School portables, we just got approval from the city on our little stamp on our foundations. So you'll start to see skirting go in. We will be putting fresh paint, roofs, and heat pumps on them. There will be some additional cameras so that we have good visual around them, and ramp systems, all of that. So we're moving ahead very, things will start to move more quickly on the exterior now that the foundations are signed off on. As far as the portables that we're doing at Tahali Heights, there's more civil work at that site because they're going into a grassy area. So we have to prep the site, have a nice pad for each one, put the pathways in before we move the portables in. And now that we're moving forward with the 4, we're kind of fast tracking to those 4 so that we can do all that civil work together and put all of those portables in hopefully at the same time. And I'm pleased to say that we've revised our site plan to more fully give kind of a hallway down the center between the classrooms, more like a double loaded corridor. I just have one building that we have to turn differently, otherwise they won't fit. So we're really close. So Beth should be happy, and to Holly Heights. So we're moving along and making progress on those portables. These projects are my favorite, the techie ones and the HVAC ones. I'm sorry, Lori, but they are. I love them. I know, I'm so weird. But they have such a big effect. Anyway, we've done a lot of good work at Daffodil, and we're finally gonna hit that finish line. October 30th, if anybody is going to be in the area, just kind of look over at Daffodil. We'll have the crane in place to move out the old chiller and put the new chiller in. I will be there with my camera ready to go. I'm very excited about that. So that's exciting because we're almost complete there. And then with this project in particular, we also did some work at the Bonnie Lake High School chiller. Both chillers are functioning. We identified some additional repairs that we'd like to get completed. So we're working on that. But we had functioning chillers at Bonnie Lake High School. That was also a good thing. Only 4 schools that don't have generators: Crestwood, Daffodil, Liberty Ridge, and Mountain View. Generators are incredibly long lead items. I don't know why. If I did, I'd probably win the lottery or something. But we are making progress. They're in production. The automatic transfer switches for 2 of the generators are in our warehouse this week. So we're slowly getting there. As far as transportation and support services, been working with the engineer on that design. We found some optimizations that we could make. And then bang forward an email to me about an entity that had a surplus generator. I had our engineers take a look at that to see if we could make it work. We would have to make some modifications and do some things, but we can make it work. Now it's just, can we get it? They had another buyer interested, so I'm waiting to hear. Either way, we will have a generator that can support the essential services at transportation and support services, which is good. And then these 2 slides are really boring looking. They represent a huge amount of work. This last week, all of our scoreboards went in. So the remaining ones: Bonnie Lake High School Stadium, Sumner High School baseball, and Bonnie Lake High School softball and baseball. All of those are fast pitch, excuse me. Those scoreboards are all in, so we're good to go for those seasons. I think I had reported previously about Core Plus, the compressor work being a challenge. I reached out to one of our vendors that we use on a purchasing cooperative, and they provided pricing for us. So we will be able to move forward with that work. Erin is applying for some grants. And so what we want to do is use those grants for that work. We'll still need to get some acoustic treatments at Bonnie Lake High School in the shop, and we'll price that later. The big challenge there is an occupied space is almost impossible for them to work with for the acoustics. So that drives the price up. If we can do it when it's not occupied, we will have better pricing and be able to get it done. We have a number of playgrounds that are in production: Liberty Ridge, Victor Falls to Holly Heights. All of those are currently in that slow supply chain production line. But we are working those and working with the health department for our approvals so we have everything worked out on access and stuff. Transportation heat pump replacement. It's another HVAC project that has massive effect for the people in that building. I don't know how many years those heat pumps have not worked. The heat pumps at both support services and transportation are original to those buildings, which are from the early 90s. So it's amazing that 30 years later, anything is functioning. But it's been a great project, run very smoothly, and our bus drivers and transportation staff have been very patient. We do our final walkthrough on Friday, and then we'll be commissioning and starting up the equipment. So very exciting. Sumner High School elevator modernization, the student store remodeling, and the pool bottom resurfacing. No change on those. Those are still scheduled in the future. We'll report on those when there's more progress. And I guess that's it. Any questions? Yeah, and I didn't even mention Sumner High School. We're in the process of closing that out. So we should be able to come to the board with a recommendation to accept the project as complete. very soon. I'm waiting on the final commissioning report. Mountain View, we're doing some irrigation work to, solve some major problems with irrigation on that site. That's part of that project. We got a few other pieces of change order work taken care of. So we'll be coming to the board with that project as well soon. Oh yeah, Victor Falls Gym is complete, beautiful, love it. Another geeky project, it's the gym floor now floats so that moisture is able to move through and not bubble up. And we have, cove base that has vents. So again, we're allowing the air to circulate and not cause problems with that floor. That was a really good fix.
Just a comment, the excitement level that I've seen at the Bonnie Lake High School football games is really great to see. So all those improvements are great to have up there. And then you talked about the energy consumption project. It was pretty cool on our facilities tour to actually walk by and peek over the shoulder of the person who's got this insane screen monitoring all of the energy and fine tuning it to make sure that it's always working at its optimal range. And so that's pretty cool to see.
And I look forward to bringing more information to you about that aspect of the work that we do, because there's a lot of really beneficial things that are going on. So thank you for the privilege for doing this work. Thank you. Anything else? Okay.
Okay, Marina. Each of us, when we're out in the public, sometimes you're at a store and somebody taps you on the shoulder and you get a question. This is an anticipatory question because it's what I'm thinking. I saw the placement of the portables at the Bonnie Lake High School, and I first saw them and they weren't even done with the foundation yet. They just had the construction fence around, and I thought, oh, they're just parked there until they can, prepare the site they need to go. The next time I saw them, they're getting, the foundation done and they're right there. And I thought, wow, they couldn't find a better place for those. And so if I'm thinking this, there's got to be other people out there thinking this. And I want to know how to answer them when
I can help you
when I
with that.
get that. Great. Thank you.
Yes. So the Bonnie Lake High School site is very complicated. It is a very tight site with a lot going on above the ground and below the ground. When it comes to portables, if you don't want to put in portables with restrooms, you need to have your location to be within 50 feet of restrooms. We wanted to not impact drop-off and pickup zones. We wanted to be close to the building for supervision, for access to restrooms and all of those challenges. And that we originally had looked at the parking lot in transportation, that little lower piece where the EV charging stations are. It has huge, impossible to overcome at this point, ADA access challenges. So we ruled that out and had to look at something else. The challenge and the reason why those portables are placed the way they are is there is a water line easement that runs through that parking lot. And so to keep that easement clear for the city to access their water line, we had to be very strategic in how we place those portables. Putting them too far from the building means we can't get to the restrooms. They're hard to supervise. Putting them on the other side of the building, again, too far from the restrooms, impacting drop off and pickup, hard to supervise. So it's like finding the least disadvantageous spot on that campus that could support them and could do them in the manner that we needed to. The other piece is City of Bonnie Lake has given us a temporary use permit for those portables. It's something that we will reapply for, but they wanted them to be very temporary in nature so that we could easily remove them without making any major infrastructure changes. So it was a very complex situation. It was the best solution that we could come up with to preserve parking, access to restrooms, student safety, all of those things.
I wish I would have tape recorded you so that I could say, oh, I have an answer for that.
I think it'll be online.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You bet. No problem. Thank you. Anybody else have a question? Thank you very much again.
For information only is a public record transparency report prepared by Executive Director of Legal Affairs, Marion Leach. Your packet. Any board discussion this evening? Paul? Yes?
None for me tonight.
Okay.
Thanks.
Rick? None for me. Deb? All right. All right, our next board meeting has been scheduled for Wednesday, November 15th. We'll begin at 6 p.m. right here in the central office boardroom. We are adjourned.